Hello, it's just gone 9:30, and this is me reporting from the comfort of the sofa. Right, so tonight it's a health update with a purpose. There's a reason why I'm going to be saying this. So, I've been struggling with my health on and off since Saturday, but I'm like this. I am master of, rather mistress. I am mistress of my health. And I've said on numerous occasions that if I need to see a doctor, then I failed. So, jumping forward to today, as I said, I've been on and off struggling. And so, right, so I'm going to get to the point and then I'll come back I'll lengthen it out once I get to the point. Right, so the point of this particular video is it's about service again. So obviously I'm here with my sister, and irrespective of how I feel, I still need to carry out my duties towards her. So I still need to provide food for her 3 times a day and all the other things that she may require. So I'm not in a position where I can just say, all right, I've got a temperature, I don't feel well, let me just lie down until I feel a bit better. I still have to keep going. So today, I had one conversation with mother, and I responded to a text message to my sister's boss. And the text message came in yesterday. But the thing is, when I don't feel great, I I don't really like to use my brain. So even to respond to a text message, or worse, an email, it's just not anything that I really want to do. So I responded to the text message today, and one of the one of the one of the well the question in the message was, how's our patient? And I replied, not too bad. But then I went in and I said, I'm not well, or something. I haven't been well myself, and it's a bit of a pain looking after someone else when you're not well. And to that I didn't get a response. I didn't get like, oh, I hope you feel better, so nothing. And with my mother, because one of my friends has been coming around and sort of giving my sister reflexology, but he was supposed to come on Saturday, but I told him not to. Because I didn't want to be around anybody, in a sense that I need all my energy for myself. So I'm not great at entertaining people, even though I was on the road last night and I made a couple of videos. That's because I had energy, because my energy comes and it goes. So at the moment it's gone. But I didn't want anybody around me, because I'm like that and I'm just plain speaking. So I don't beat around the bush. I will say why and why not. So every day my mother's been ringing and she's asking, oh, is the guy coming? And it's like, no, no, no. And then today I said, I'm not well. I don't want to see anybody. So in other words, people expect me to prioritize my sister's health. But I speak very plainly in front of my sister. I'm not one of these type of people who will, oh, I'll pretend that I'm not well, for her sake. I don't prioritize anybody's health over my own. So if I don't feel well, I don't feel well. I'm not going to hide it. Ordinarily, if I don't mention anything about my health, it's because I'm choosing not to. But this thing has been prolonged. It's prolonging, and I know people are going to say, maybe it's coronavirus, because nothing existed before coronavirus. And I will come back to what it is shortly. So anyway, so basically I will say things to people, but I say it for effect, because sometimes you have to help people to be better people. So like my mother was gonna come over in March, but she's having treatment at the hospital. And then she was going to come in April, but she needs to have more treatment, so she's not going to be able to come until May. And I know what's going on. She's not supposed to come, right? Because whatever my sister's going through, I know there are people who don't believe in God, but I, I, with me, I look at the whole picture as far as I can. So I've already worked out that the reason I'm not well, it's to make a point. It's not because there is something wrong with me. Sometimes you just have to suffer things. You just have to allow things in order for the point to be driven home. So like when my sister's carer came, she sees me, and she said, "Oh, you're going to bed early," and I said, "No, I don't feel well. I had a temperature and all sorts of things. My limbs are heavy and all of that." So she said, "Oh, what are you taking? This, that, the other." So I said, I don't get sick, so I don't take anything. I'm usually, if there's anything wrong with me, I'm better by the morning. So I explained to her. In fact, my friend who does the reflexology, he called me earlier in the evening because he wanted to drop some not distilled, it's purified water, 5 liters. Long story. He wanted to drop some water over for my sister. So the carer and he arrived almost the same time. So when I went downstairs to collect the water, we were standing talking. So I explained to them that the reason why I am not well, it is to make a point, because that's how God works, right? So people, there are people who are very critical, who have done nothing whatsoever, even to check. I mean, like I said, there are people who might say, "Oh, how's your sister?" But it doesn't occur to them. I'm going to do a Meghan Markle. Nobody asked me if I'm okay. Not that, but I'm taking the Mickey, obviously. But it's sort of like, so, like I said, I say things in the presence of my sister, so that she too can understand something. Because if her health, if she didn't have health problems, then for a start I wouldn't be here, and as well, I would be able to rest when I'm not well. I would be able to take some rest. But as a consequence of her being unable to do anything for herself, it doesn't matter whether I'm sick or not, I've still got to put myself out. So these are tales to tell anecdotally in the future. I've said this before. A lot of the things that I put out there, the material, it's not for now, it's for later. So I mean, I I'm a soldier, if you like, so I can put up with whatever I need to put up with. But as I said, if I'm ill and I need to consult a doctor, which I won't need to do, I've considered it as failure on my part. So it is a very interesting time. But the bottom line is, sometimes we suffer in order that others can learn a lesson. And I think of Joseph a lot, because I see a lot of parallels with my life with his, where he suffered 13 years in Egypt before he could meet with his destiny. And it was interesting when his brothers, he knew, but when he reconnected with his brothers, he knew who they were and they didn't know who he was. And it's just, sometimes you've got to look. Like I said, some people think the Bible is fairy tales. That's up to them, whatever. But you look back at other people's experiences, or even things that happen in the Bible, so you can learn something. You can gain wisdom from it. So in the same way, I only speak for myself. So for me, based on what I experience, I put it out there so that other people might be able to learn something from it. I'm not setting myself up as somebody to teach other people anything. I just put things out there, and like I said, I don't do doctors. It's funny because I was watching a YouTube video earlier, and it's somebody, he's a narcissist, a self-confessed narcissist, and he's done a series of videos. Well, the series is ongoing about Meghan Markle as the narcissist, and he mentioned that doctors, not all, some are narcissists, but based on my experience with dealing with them for my sister, on behalf of my sister, I knew that. So there you have an expert confirming that the people in the medical profession are not exactly the best people that you need to consult when you're not feeling well. So there you go. But like, I'm no expert, but all I can do is whatever I'm going through, especially that sort of like from a spiritual perspective, if it works for me, I put it out there. So I am very much aware that at the minute, the way I'm feeling, it's just to prove a point. It's not because I'm ill per se. It is just sometimes God will make us suffer in order to teach other people lessons. So I go back to Joseph. So Joseph, it wasn't necessary for Joseph to do 13 years in slavery and prison in Egypt, but it was, the greater point was that even though his brothers tried to do away with him, he still survived, and he still met with his life purpose. So he was down, but he was not out. And sometimes it takes a while before we were able to see the full picture. But I got my relationship with God, and I pretty much know. Often I know what's really going on, even if I don't say. But I did say, when I was speaking to my friend, the one who does a reflexology, when I was speaking to him on the phone, he suggested maybe it might have been something like my sister's illness rubbing off on me. And I said, no, it's not that. And I just said to him straight up, I said, no, this is, so, it's what's wrong with me is that obviously there are people out there who, like, I'm not the compassionate type in the way that people understand compassion. And I mean from the perspective that I'm not the touchy feely, oh you poor thing type. I am practical. I do compassion in a practical way, and I can come across harsh. So there are people sitting on their asses, hiding away, using lockdown as an excuse to not get themselves involved or help others, who would turn to me and say, "Oh, you can't be like that." So you see, so what, with this experience that I'm having now, at some future date, should I go and relate it, because I do intend to write another book. Should I relate this? People might look at me harshly for saying things the way that I say them, but I can turn around because I'm the one that was here with my sister looking after her. Nobody else was. So I can turn around and ask, where were you? It's easy to talk. Talk is cheap. It's easy to talk and say how compassionate you are, but prove it, right? So like I said, for me, what I'm 100% sure I wake up in the morning and I'll feel better because the point has been made. And you obviously need witnesses. So I've had witnesses. I've had my sister's carer, and I've had my friend, and they've seen what I look like. I'm looking sluggish and all of that, and yet I'm still here looking after my sister. So I already have the witnesses. My sister's already, well, she's here. There's nothing she can do about it, but she is, she witnessed. She saw that I continue to serve her despite being ill. She's aware that even though people contacted me asking me how she is, when when I got back to them and I mentioned that I'm sick, and like I said, I only did it for effect to see what they would do, because in situations like that, it just goes to show people don't know what to say, because Like I said, their compassion comes from their mouths, so rather than in practical terms. So it's just to make the point, because you need to, if you're not that I'm setting myself up as a teacher, like I said, but if you want to make the point, you have got to. I talk about putting your money where your mouth is. You have there's a passage in the Bible where it says, "Show me your faith, and I will show you my works." You need to be able to say, "Well, here's what I did," and witnesses help. So I'm pretty sure that I wake up in the morning and I will be fighting fit again. So that's that's my little update for tonight. So see, I'm here in the dark again. All right, so you guys take care. Bye.